Shalom. Why is it so important for us to know and embrace our own calling? We're going to talk about that in this very exciting parasha today. It's parashat Korach. It's Numbers 16:1 through 18:32. The Haftarah is 1 Samuel 11:14 through 12:22, and the New Covenant portion is Romans 13 verses 1 through 7. Let's start right in on Numbers chapter 16. Now, Korach, the son of Itzhar, the son of Kohath, the son of Levi, with Datan and Abiram, the sons of Eliav, and On, the son of Pelet, sons of Reuven, took action, and they rose up before Moses together with some of the sons of Israel, 250 leaders of the congregation, chosen in the assembly, men of renown. They assembled together against Moses and Aaron and said to them, "You have gone far enough, for all the congregation are holy, every one of them, and the Lord is in their midst. So why do you exalt yourselves above the assembly of the Lord?" Well, let's start talking about who was Korach. If we really study this, and we've talked about it in the past, Korach was Moses' first cousin. So these men were very close. And now here he comes with 250 of the leaders of the congregation coming up against God's choice of Moses and Aaron. In verse 4, when Moses heard this, he fell on his face and he spoke to Korach and all his company, saying, "Tomorrow morning, the Lord will show who is his and who is holy, and will bring him near to himself, even the one whom he will choose. He will bring near to himself. Do this: take censers for yourselves, Korach, and all your company, and put fire in them, and lay incense upon them in the presence of the Lord tomorrow. And the man whom the Lord chooses shall be the one who is holy. You have gone far enough, you sons of Levi." When we think about this story, Moses never wanted this job of leading the children of Israel out of Egypt. It was God who chose him, and Moses carried them through the desert. He was so patient with them always, and now they are grumbling once again against him and Aaron. In verse 8, Moses said to Korach, "Hear now, you sons of Levi, is it not enough for you that the God of Israel has separated you from the rest of the congregation of Israel to bring you near to himself, to do the service of the tabernacle of the Lord, and to stand before the congregation to minister to them, and that he has brought you near, Korach, and all your brothers, sons of Levi, with you? And are you seeking for the priesthood also?" So, wow, this is so key to this parasha, because Moses says, "Korach, God chose you. You have a calling on you." And what a calling! It says that, Korach was one of the sons of Levi. He was separated unto the Lord, called unto the service of the Lord, to bring you near to God, to do the service of the tabernacle of the Lord, and to stand before the congregation and to minister to them. The only thing that they didn't have was the priesthood. And that was because God had chosen Aaron and his sons for the priesthood. But these men had gotten jealous and set their eyes on a calling that was not theirs. Well, as we go on, in verse 11, it says, "Therefore, you and all your company are gathered together against the Lord. But as for Aaron, who is he that you grumble against him?" Then Moses sent a summons to Datan and Abiram, the sons of Eliav, but they said, "We will not come up. Is it not enough that you have brought us up out of the land flowing with milk and honey to have us die in the wilderness? But you would also lord it over us?" Look what they are doing. They are saying that Egypt was the land flowing with milk and honey, when all that the children of Israel really had in Egypt was slavery. And it was God who was bringing them to Canaan, to the land, to Israel, the land that was flowing with milk and honey. Verse 14, indeed, you have not brought us into a land flowing with milk and honey, nor have you given us an inheritance of fields and vineyards. Would you put out the eyes of these men? We will not come up. Verse 15. Moses became very angry and said to the Lord, do not regard their offering. I have not taken a single donkey from them, nor have I done harm to any of them. Moses said to Korach, you and all your company be present before the Lord tomorrow, both you and they, along with Aaron. Each of you take his fire pan and put incense on it, and each of you bring his censer before the Lord, 250 fire pans. Also, you and Aaron shall each bring his fire pan. So they each took his own censer and put fire on it and laid incense on it, and they stood at the doorway of the tent of meeting with Moses and Aaron. Thus, Korach assembled all the congregation against them at the doorway of the tent of meeting. So now Korach has got the whole congregation against Moses and Aaron. But look what happens. The glory of the Lord appeared to all the congregation. That was the moment that they should have all fallen on their faces and repented and said, oh God, forgive us for being jealous of someone else's role. God, forgive us for rebelling against you, because the truth was the rebellion was against the Lord. It was not against Moses and Aaron. They were just the people that were there. Verse 20, then the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, separate yourself from among this congregation, that I may consume them instantly. But they fell on their faces and said, oh God, God of the spirits of all flesh, when one man sins, will you be angry with the entire congregation? Look at them, these two beautiful men interceding on behalf of this people who are not acting very nice. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, speak to the congregation, saying, get back from around the dwellings of Korach, Datan, and Aviram. And then Moses arose and went to Datan and Aviram with the elders of Israel following him. And he spoke to the congregation, saying, depart now from the tents of these wicked men and touch nothing that belongs to them, or you will be swept away in all their sin. So they got back from around the dwellings of Korach, Datan, and Aviram. And Datan and Aviram came out and stood at the doorway of their tents, along with their wives and their sons and their little ones. Moses said, by this you shall know that the Lord has sent me to do all these deeds, for this is not my doing. If these men die the death of all men, or if they suffer the fate of all men, then the Lord has not sent me. But if the Lord brings about an entirely new thing, and the ground opens its mouth and swallows them up with all that is theirs, and they descend alive into Sheol, then you will understand that these men have spurned the Lord. As he finished speaking all these words, the ground that was under them split open, and the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up and their households and all the men who belonged to Korach with their possessions. So they and all that belonged to them went down alive to Sheol, and the earth closed over them, and they perished from the midst of the assembly. All Israel who were around them fled at their outcry, and they said, the earth may swallow us up. Fire also came forth from the Lord and consumed the 250 men who were offering the incense. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, say to Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, that he shall take up the censers out of the midst of the blaze, for they are holy, and you shall and you scatter the burning coals abroad. As for the censers of these men who have sinned at the cost of their lives, let them be made into hammered sheets for a plating of the altar, since they did present them before the Lord, and they are holy. and they shall be a sign for the sons of Israel. So Eleazar the priest took the bronze censers, which the men who were burned had offered, and they hammered them out as a plating for the altar, as a reminder to the sons of Israel that no layman who is not of the descendants of Aaron should come near to burn incense before the Lord, so that he will not become like Korach and his company, just as the Lord had spoken to him through Moses. But on the next day, all the congregation of Israel, of the sons of Israel, grumbled against Moses and Aaron. Once again, grumbling against Moses and Aaron, saying, "You are the ones who have caused the death of the Lord's people." It came about, however, when the congregation had assembled against Moses and Aaron, that they turned toward the tent of meeting, and behold, the cloud covered it, and the glory of the Lord appeared. And then Moses and Aaron came to the front of the tent of meeting, and the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Get away from among this congregation, that I may consume them instantly." Then they fell on their faces. Moses said to Aaron, "Take your censer and put in it fire from the altar and lay incense on it. Then bring it quickly to the congregation and make atonement for them, for wrath has gone forth from the Lord. The plague has begun." Then Aaron took it, as Moses had spoken, and ran into the midst of the assembly, for behold, the plague had begun among the people. So he put on the incense and made atonement for the people. He took his stand between the dead and the living, so that the plague was checked. But those who died by the plague were 14,700, besides those who died on account of Korach. Then Aaron returned to Moses at the doorway of the tent of meeting, for the plague had been checked. These two beautiful men, the whole congregation had come against them, but these men stood and they interceded for the children of Israel at this time. I want to stop here, but that's not the end of this portion. Read it for yourself, because it gets even better as you go on. As we go through this week, let's concentrate on the things that God has given us to do without looking at what he's given somebody else to do, or being jealous of a role that he has given to someone else. Let's just really use this time to focus on what he is asking from us. I bless you, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Shalom.